Hey, this is SXE Blues, and before I get to some of the other projects I had as far as things I wanted to upload, I thought I'd do a little review of Mortal Kombat Legacy episodes 1 through 3, because I think it's a kick-ass series, and I just figured I'd give some thoughts on it. Um, Starting with the first episode, we see that Sonya Blade, as portrayed by Jerry Ryan, formerly of Star Trek Voyager, is seemingly, like outside a warehouse and looking for Kano, who is, the baddie, he's up to no good and whatever. And we kind of segue to point with Jax, and I'm not going to remember all the character names, but there's an argument between Jax and someone else about going in, as backup for Sonya, and ultimately they go, and all hell breaks loose. We see that Sonya's been captured and is being, tortured by Kano, and so Jax, as portrayed by Michael Jai White. Those are the only two that I actually know the actor names, but he with his troop go in and start shooting the place up, and there's explosions going off and everything like that, and some brief fights, and this first episode is really kind of just, it, to me it signals an intro to the series. It's just kind of giving you a loose idea of where we're going to go, and it ends, I believe, with Sonya getting loose and going to look for Jax. And, I think that's where the first episode ends. It's about a week since I watched it, so, but I just watched the second and third tonight, so, moving into the second episode, it kind of takes off, or rather, begins right where, the first episode ended. And, we have Jax catching up to Kano, and they're fighting, and there's a point where Sonya runs into like this room with computers, and she sees that Jax is chasing Kano, and so she tries to catch up to them, and there's this really cool, I love the choreography of the fight, and there's really some great action between Jax and Kano, and Jax basically gives Kano a beating down. So Kano seems to be out for the count, and just as Sonya comes in and she pops a guy from behind, one of the thugs who's potentially going to shoot Jax, and out of nowhere comes this explosive device, and so Jax starts running off towards Sonya, basically to save her life, and we then wake up in the hospital with Sonya, and the guy that Jax was arguing with from the first episode, he basically relays to Sonya that Jax is alive, but for anyone who's played Mortal Kombat, and I really haven't played the games in a long time, and I don't remember a lot of the plot lines and things of that sort, but I do know I'm familiar enough with Jax because my guilty pleasure file, I like the Mortal Kombat movies. I know that he's got the cybernetic arms, and he doesn't have them at this point in the Legacy series, but the cat talking to Sonya basically says they're worried about Jax's spine, and the problem is with his arms, and for anyone knowing about Jax with the cybernetic arms, that's a cool little to see that they're still holding true to the characters loosely. And so then we see Kano's body being dragged out of the warehouse, and he's put up on a table, and I don't think we see who the guys are, but it looks like they're going to, perform a surgical procedure on him, and because he doesn't have his snazzy cybernetic cranial implant at this point, but by the end of the episode, he does, and that really ramped up the excitement for me. The first episode was like, it was just cool to see that they were bringing the series back, but in retrospect, it was just really kind of like an intro piece. it was setting the players to give you a vague idea of what was going to unfold. The second episode immediately jumps ahead, I feel like, more into who the characters are, or play on who the characters are from the games, the vague knowledge that I have about them. And but still very rooted in a more real world to this point. And so episode 2 was definitely better than the first, but I still give both thumbs up. But that moves us into episode 3, the debut of Johnny Cage. And the first impression that hit me when this episode began, like I saw that, it was episode 3, Johnny Cage, and I thought, oh, awesome, how's, Johnny Cage going to fit into what's going on with Sonya, Jax, and Kano? And so I was off-put immediately, to a degree, by the idea that we're very much in Johnny Cage's own life. It has nothing to do with what we've seen in the first 2 episodes to this point. And I didn't expect that. I thought maybe, it was going to be like characters are coming together, gravitating toward each other. But in fact, the 3rd episode was focusing more on Johnny Cage and his own story. But once I got beyond that initial, shock, that it wasn't a, continuation from episode 2 to episode 3, I loved what they did. Knowing, again, vaguely what the character is supposed to be. He's a martial artist who's, down and out in Hollywood, trying to get, because of the way the modern world is, he's trying to get a reality series started in a sort of law enforcement, like the one with Steven Seagal and Dog the Bounty Hunter, as they reference in the episode. And I had a laugh out loud moment when they said his last pay job was being one of the Power Rangers. And they say this twice, and both times, I had to go back a little bit because I was laughing and I didn't hear dialogue. That just stunned me, out of left field reference there. But so essentially, he's got these 2, Hollywood cronies who are kind of dogging him around and not just coming clean about the fact that they're really not willing to do business with him. They want to go a different direction. They, to my estimation, should have told him up front about it, but because what ends up happening, 3 months goes by when his first project, they basically say, no, we don't really want anything to do with this, but we'll give you a second chance. They should have never said we'll give you a second chance, because then he went and spent all his money and all his time and all his effort creating a new version of the original product. Where he's essentially, using his martial arts talents. He's going around kicking thugs' asses. And so when he brings this, second completed piece to them, they're like, no, we got to be frank with you. We don't want anything to do with you. Our partners don't want to do business with you. We don't want, just, go live your life and get out of here and whatever. Really dogging them. And, so there's a point where he's going to leave and he's frustrated. He breaks the DVD of, his pilot episode that he was trying to sell to them and trying to make a living on, because nobody's giving him callbacks and everything like that. And there's this cool moment where he's leaving, he's frustrated, and he overhears one of the guy's voices in this little closed off, curtained off area. And it turns out the 2 Hollywood guys are talking to this chick. The character name, again, I don't know, nor the actress name, but essentially they are trying to pimp off to her the exact basis for his pilot, only with, instead of Johnny Cage being the central character or the central, what the show's about, it would be a sexy Hollywood female with, martial arts talents and things like that. The whole sex sells, thing that the Hollywood spin, if you will, a Hollywood spin version of it. And so Cage hears this, and like anyone with a rational mind in the heat of the moment might do, he blasts through the curtain and he grabs the guy and starts kicking his ass. And the other one has his little camera phone out, and who knows if this is going to be in the news somewhere along the lines later, but within the Legacy series. But the intriguing thing comes toward the end. I have not seen any of the trailers that were out before the series. I'm only going into the series after reading one or two articles on websites, and being excited from having seen the original short film like a year ago that came out. I don't remember what it was called off the top of my head, but so I didn't expect yet again, as with the beginning of the episode, that this one was focusing on Johnny Cage. I didn't expect where the end of the episode was going. I had been curious as to whether they were going to still bring in the supernatural Mortal Kombat, tournament with Shang Tsung and all of that. And I don't know if the character was supposed to be Shang Tsung at the end of it, but essentially, when Johnny Cage realizes what he's done to this guy, beating him within an inch of his life, he realizes he's got to get the hell out of there, and he starts to run off, and then time freezes, and I'm thinking, what is this surreal? All of a sudden, like, is he, about to faint? What's going on? And then all of a sudden, as if the excitement from what I was saying in the episode hadn't been ramped up enough, all of a sudden, this Asian character comes walking in, and like I said, I don't know if it's Shang Tsung or, another character of notable Mortal Kombat means, but all time stops, and he comes in and he says, basically, you're having troubles, how would you like to get out of it? And Cage is like, what does that mean? And so all of a sudden I'm just like, oh yeah, because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if they were going to go the supernatural side. I didn't know if they were going to go the Mortal Kombat tournament, the way it is in the games. I was thinking maybe it was going to be like a more realistic, if you go back to the short film that they did, like more grounded in reality, in that, with some of the characters, like the one guy had, skin disease and a mutation, and another guy had, I didn't know there were going to be supernatural elements in it. So it seems, to be really ramping up awesome. And so again, thumbs up for the third episode as well. It got me really, really super stoked for where the series is going, and I'm really digging it. I always was fascinated by, kind of in the same vein of how I like Star Trek, I'm drawn to the characters. So even when it's like the Mortal Kombat movies, which is seen usually as being pretty bad, I like the characters. I'm drawn to the way the characters look and what, their, for me, vague storyline is, and the whole supernatural thing. So I dig the Mortal Kombat movies, but I'm digging this even more because it's kind of like taking, the best elements of the Mortal Kombat games that I am familiar with, and mashing it together with the sort of realism from like The Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan film. So I cannot wait. I did see one brief little snippet that I'm not sure when it's coming down the pike, with Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and it's like, oh man, this is so cool. So when the next 3 episodes are out, I'll probably do another little sort of review, and definitely check it out if you have any vague interest in gaming or Mortal Kombat, or just pretty cool martial arts action, and I dig it. So this is SXE Blues signing off.